What's up? Chimera 21, or is it 21 or 21? Please explain to me. There's a few people that I don't know how to pronounce their names. Some of them are fairly prominent in the commenting, and Chimera, you're definitely one of them. I've seen your name lots of times. I'm sure if I took an old visit to the comment section of various things, I would see your name everywhere. Well, it only shows me the ones I haven't responded to, which just lets me know that I'm way behind. Well, hello, Stardust. Good evening. What time is it, Stardust, where you're at? I would like to know. Germany. So, not everywhere on some of the vids. Yeah, I've definitely seen your name around. Stardust. Stardust in Germany too. That's friggin' cool. I love that. It's quite in the evening hours. What is that equal to in in dumb time? Is it 8? No, it's got to be 9. It's past 9 o'clock over there in Germany, and it is 2 here. That's crazy. I love that kind of thing. Yeah, just ignore me. Uh, Babe, you're in the other room. Is it weird hearing me say things through the door and then hearing it like 10 seconds later on stream? It's 11 a.m. Chimera, where are you at? Not the specifics, but roughly. 11 a.m. That dude, that's like I'm just waking up and like getting cereal at 11 a.m. Uh, Waiting on a flight? I'm super glad that you showed up while you're waiting on a flight. That's awesome. Where are you flying to, if you don't mind me asking? Well, let me ask you this, actually. Is it for business or for recreation? I've never flown. Stardust, you have a lot of friends across the Atlantic. Man, so, and I meant to ask that. That's dedication. It is dedication, and it's noted. So I've never been anywhere outside of the U.S. What's it like in Germany? I want to know so bad because like I have a lot of European ancestry. Business trip. You're going to Canada? Oh, it's your first flight ever. Okay, deep breaths and like relaxing fields. You'll be all right. Statistically speaking, it's the safest way to fly. Go, travel, fly. Okay. Business trip to Canada. Oh yeah, Elizabeth, you've I think you've said that you've flown before. Like I have a sibling that loves flying, but I'm too terrified to ever hop on. But like if this channel ever did anything and I have to go overseas somewhere, I'm just gonna be like, just knock me out. Here's a hammer, put me to sleep, and I'll see you whenever the flight's done. To Denver a few times. We've talked about the Denver airport. Yeah, dude, I would be a nervous mess. Stardust says it's really nice over here. You should fly over sometime. Yep, I'm feeling that way. Dude, I get it. I would be the exact same way. Uh, I would love to go to Germany. Really nice over here. What's how is I don't know if you would know necessarily like outside the country, but like uh is the cost of living very crazy in Germany? Because I guess I've never really even thought about it. I would love I would love to go to Germany. I'm just taking notes on some stuff. Depends on where you go. Is it I figure like all the touristy cities are probably super expensive to live in. It's weird. I can hear the playback on Elizabeth's phone way out here. And it's weird to hear it. Do you get a lot of really dumb tourists that are just like, I don't even know what tourist, I'm not a tourist, so I don't know. I'm sure you get, like in the really touristy places, because I'm sure that they don't do like I don't know, the real sort of real deep German experience. I'm sure it's just very like lighthearted. Honestly, we probably do, but I stay away from crap. Country boy. Me too, man. Me too. I don't like we live. I don't want to say specifically where, but like we live sort of in a not urban area. But like I'm from Chicago initially. Like originally, that's where I'm from. You're from Iowa? Okay. Okay, Joseph. Country boy in Iowa. Uh, what do you do? So, a country boy from Iowa. So, what happens in Iowa? That's like, I don't know. I don't even know what to ask. Country Boy Alliance. Yes. Anyway, from Saskatchewan. Again, I've not even been to Canada, if I'm being completely truthful, and I've always wanted to go. How do you feel about being called sometimes in certain groups America's hat? I'm very curious. Uh, anyway, I was saying I'm from Chicago originally, and uh, in Chicago, it's just like it's all concrete and it's all just like people packed everywhere, and there's gunshots everywhere, and I don't even live in the same state now, and it's very quiet. And Elizabeth and I were driving uh, down these sort of what I would call back roads. She would firmly disagree, but we were driving down these back roads, and I fell in love with just like the openness, and like there's just like a bunch of woods, and immediately like she turned to me, and I had like a straw coming out of my mouth, and I had a banjo in the back seat randomly, and I was like, I'm all for it. Like this is amazing. Lots of partying college kids. Yeah. Once I got a little older, it was nothing but trouble. Yeah. It was not the boonies. To me, it was. You've never thought about being called USA's hat? I can't remember where I heard that from, but I thought it was really funny. We were 6 miles from town. Yes, but everybody was like 5 miles apart. You can smell the moonshine in the air. Never heard that before. America's hat? What have you heard then? Not too terrible, but I'm very curious. I've heard there's many good reasons to go to what they call the Great White North, I guess. Joseph, you're married with kids now. That's fantastic. How does it feel to be so vastly different from what you once were? Because I kind of have a similar story to that, to be honest with you. Uh, I wasn't like a whole lot of trouble, but I definitely did some things that my parents probably didn't enjoy. But like very similarly, like I'm with Elizabeth, and like I don't know, I'm buying the house I'm in. I've heard we're all Eskimos and I'll live in igloos. Dude, I don't know about that one. Your Eskimo, that's not even like is that even the right part of the world? I don't know. I don't know much about anything, I guess. Eskimos. I don't know much about igloos. I know that there's like you can rent out like igloos and sleep in them in some places for a very hefty fee. Yeah, they live way up north in Canada. I imagine they do. I mean, if you're bundled up to that degree, because like there's some YouTubers that I watch that live in Canada. The Happy Console Gamer is one of them, and he doesn't seem like he bundles up too terribly much. Hello, Jacob. We need a Final Fantasy VI remake, but it still needs to be an RPG, no action. I agree. I believe they were talking about redoing Final Fantasy VI for, was it Nintendo DS at one time? They were talking about it, and if they were to remake Final Fantasy VI, please no action RPG stuff. Like, I think, I don't know, depending upon how it's done. But I can't see like running Magitech armor around like Welk and like trying not to hit its shell. I just don't know if it would work or not with action RPG elements. I always thought that was an Alaska thing. An Alaska thing for the Eskimos? Because if so, I thought the same thing. Who are your top 5 FF6 characters? Oh man. I love them all in their own sort of way. Because they're all, you can essentially make them fairly similar despite their sort of innate abilities that they have. Like Sabin will always have Blitz, but Gogo can have everything. And you can all make them learn every bit of magic, so that just depends on their magic stats. But if I had to pick top 5, man, oh, by the way, hello, Drew. Top 5. I love Terra a lot. Just her story. I'm a huge Terra fan. I love Shadow a lot. Just because like he has like a sordid past. Celeste, Terra, Cyan, and Realm. Realm is up there in your top 5. Jacob, explain this to me. Is it strictly because of the sketch ability? Because I've never thought about putting Realm in a top 5, but maybe I'm missing out. Or is it because of the crazy... I can't even think of what I'm saying. User is pure mate. Oh, yeah. I guess her magic stats are... I'd have to go back and replay it. That's just like a character. Really sassy 10-year-old? Yeah, I get it. And like throughout the entire game, Edgar's just hitting on every woman, and finally Realm's like, "I'm too sassy for you, King of Figaro." I really like Locke a lot. I don't use him as much, despite. Is that a Titanfall 2 poster in your back? Maybe. I would go to my local game store and just be like, "What posters do you have? My wall is blank." In Alaska, I hear people drive snowmobiles and walk everywhere. People go out to live off land. Really? That's Alaskan folk? That seems like such a far out place, and like you get sun 4 minutes out of the year or something. Sab and Gao, Terra, Shadow, Cyan. Yeah. That's a solid setup. I like Edgar's tools a lot too. Like early on, whenever you're going through the Figaro caves, going in between Figaro Castle and South Figaro, that auto crossbow is just unmatched. Cyan's probably my favorite first time through, and Kefka definitely his theme. I agree. Kefka's one of my favorite villains, like, of any medium ever. Kefka's just sadistic in every sense of the word. And I really, it's already been done on YouTube, but I really want to dive into like his character analysis and like just go to town. I still don't know. Who have I picked so far? Terra, Shadow, Locke, Alaska. In Alaska, you have to go way up north to be in the middle of nowhere. Terra, I really love Terra. I really love Shadow. But I don't use Shadow as much, and I don't use Locke a lot, but like I love their stories. Like Locke is just a heartbroken... Locke is just terribly heartbroken with the whole Rachel thing, and like he's trying to fill that void of where Rachel once was. I don't know, it's just super sad. I recently used Gato for the first time, and yes, he's fun. Stray Cat for the win. Yeah. Celeste Terracine, Edgar, and Sabin. Top 5. The game really goes in deep with first of all, it's a huge cast of characters, and they all have something cool to bring to the table. Every time I use Log, I have to boost his speed, otherwise it's less appealing damage wise. Yeah, I don't know. I steal a lot early on, just to so where I don't have to waste money on potions and stuff. Some like Thief Glove is super cool to use for that. I don't know. Go-Go's up there for me, just because like you can Go-Go's, you can do whatever you want. Like every side ability that is in the game, Go-Go can use. So that's, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna tell you my final party that I use every time I play the game. Leaf Glove plus that accessory that makes you attack 4 times. I can't even think now. As soon as stream ends, I'll remember everything. But my final party that I always use is always Terra, Celeste, Mog, and Go-Go, because I love... Mog is just a little feline-esque powerhouse. So like you get the best of everything. You get really, really high magic stats with the first 3, but also really I don't know, really strong strength wise too. I use Mog as a Dragoon. I don't I don't use the Dragoon boots at all. He's actually more of a... By the end of the game, magic is such a way more powerful thing to use, so I just have everybody cast Ultima a whole lot, and I burn through the game in no time. But I guess those are my top 4, really. Terra, Celeste, Mog, and Go-Go. If I were to use anybody as a Dragoon, Jacob, it would probably be Edgar. But maybe I'm lying too, I don't know. But those are definitely my last 4 that I use in just about every playthrough. I haven't gotten all of Gao's Rages yet. I've always wanted to do that, but I always seem to miss an enemy here and there. I've heard Stray Cat is quite the powerful thing to use. It's been so long since I played it. Hope I can get the Pixel remaster soon. The Pixel remasters are great. I love them a lot. I know that there's some, even in like the comment section of like my videos, there's some people that are just against it almost because it doesn't have the extra dungeons, and I don't know. I love it. I love it for what it is and what it's meant to be. I don't know. I love them all. Whenever I first booted up Final Fantasy 1 in the Pixel remaster version of it, whenever I first went into a battle, it kept that noise that it uses in 4, 5, and 6, and I must have teared up at some point. Favorite boss battle? Oh boy, in any Final Fantasy game or in strictly 6? I know my channel's fairly 6-centric, but because there's a lot of really cool boss battles. In FF6, favorite boss battle. I really love I really love the final battle is really cool to me with all the I don't know, bodies that are hanging out everywhere. But other than that, favorite boss battle, the one, oh, what is it? Whenever you're in Zozo, and there's like is it Data Luma? Is that what his name is? I really like that fight a lot for some reason. That's just one that really sticks out to me. Because like he whistles and like 2 people show up. That one's really fun. The Umaro boss battle is super fun. Kind of, it can be. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes that battle messes up for me, and I think it's just a me thing. But maybe I'm wrong. Are you gonna check it? I don't know much about that entire series. I don't know anything about Stardust. I don't know much about it, if I'm being truthful. That's like a whole sub series that I've not ventured into. But if the demo's super fun, then I've got my Switch right here. I might check it out. I'm gonna make a little note. How do you even spell that? That's wild. Have you ever tried any of the randomizers? Hey, thanks. I'm glad that you liked the name. I felt like it was very universal to Final Fantasy in general, but more so 6. I've not tried any of the randomizers. The thought, I remember way back there was a Link to the Past randomizer, and that idea terrified me, so I stayed away from it. But I'll tell you what though, if I can get all my stuff working, all my equipment, I would love to do randomizers live. I'm gonna take a note because I won't remember in 2 hours. Randomizers live. And also, you're new to the channel. Welcome aboard, fellow returner. Here we are, having a live. One of the people here is waiting for a flight currently, but they've decided to show up anyway, which is super nice. I love that. But also, with so few letters, N-I, how would you go about pronouncing such a word as that? Because I have it in mind, but I know if I were to just state it, I'm gonna be wrong. Have you tried the Celeste Edgar Setzer challenge? It's the only time so far I haven't been working your sleep in the stream. I'm glad that you made it, Joseph. I'm really glad. Jacob, no. Is there something specific with that challenge? Because I don't know necessarily that would be too. I've not heard of this challenge. If you'll explain it to me, I would love to comment on it. I'm gonna write it down though. You don't recruit anyone else? Okay, that presents a pretty good challenge. Yeah, that's a good one. I might have to do that one. I will definitely. I will think about doing that one. Whether or not I actually do it is wild. I don't know. You should keep publishing to Spotify. I like to listen to. Yes. The podcast turned into something, and I think I said this last stream too, but the podcast turned into something that I just got done for the sake of getting done, rather than putting any thought into it. They're the only characters forced through story. I'm still. I'll fail with you. It'll be fine. Yeah, the podcast turned weird for me. I don't know that it came across for like listeners and stuff, but for me, it got to a point where it was like, that'll do, and I put it out for the sake of putting it out, and I didn't feel like it was up to snuff with some of the other things that I've done on the channel, and I feel that way about a lot of videos where it's like, it'll do, it's whatever. But Jacob, no, I'm definitely gonna think about doing that challenge. Whether I actually do it, I don't know. It seems like a scary thing for me. But I do have some challenges coming up soon. I don't want to say when, but some really, really dumb challenges that are way more difficult than I want them to be. I don't want to reveal too much. It's tough because you can't get Ultima. Does Celeste not learn Ultima at level 99? Or is that Terra? Uh-oh. I just got a comment on a video. Because if Celeste doesn't learn it, then yeah. Oh man. The Cult of Kefka's Tower has to be ridiculous with that. Even if you even make it that far. I can't spell. Celeste level 99. If, I don't know. I thought she learned it at level 99, but that may be Terra. Okay, I don't feel like reading all these words. Level 99 stats. I don't want to cheat the greatest RPG ever made. Google. I don't know if she does or not. I don't know either. Ways to obtain Ultima. I know for a fact, actually now that I think about it, I know for a fact Terra does. Okay, no. Yeah, just Terra learns it. Oh, gosh. Okay, if you don't get... I guess you couldn't get Ragnarok. Because Locke's not in the party. Do the Paladin Shield. Ah, Chimera coming in with... Yeah, you're right. Hoping to get a PS5 soon. Stuck with only Switch. Yeah. Can you not... Where do you get... Do you get the Curse Shield in the... Uh-oh. Oh, I'll speak about a PS5 here in a second. Uh-oh. If you can't get the Curse Shield... Oh, man. It's in... Oh! Dang. Yeah. Well, Ultima won't exist in that playthrough at all. That's bad news. So PS5. I don't have one either. Although I stayed at my siblings' house to watch their cats over a weekend, and they did have a PS5. But sadly, I did not explore all the options that the PS5 has to offer because it wasn't mine, so I felt like I couldn't. And I told them that whenever they got back, and they were like, dude, you should have just went through it, like, it's fine. But I will say the PS5 is huge and unruly looking. It's a lot bigger than what I thought it would be. Because I'm very used to, I guess I've got a PS4 Pro, or whatever, and it's kind of small and flat. And then the PS5 looks like it won't fit anywhere correctly. And that's my takeaway from the PS5. I would love to have one, but times is tough. That sucks you can't have Ultima at all in that playthrough. Wait, no? Because you get Terra and Mobliz, and that's an optional thing. Man. What a playthrough. I guess you would have to really manipulate sets or slots a whole lot. And I don't know how easy that is to do in the Pixel remaster. I haven't done it. I was just able to say playing games again recently. You haven't played since the 360 days. I remember 360 days. That's where I discovered BioShock, and I fell in love with BioShock. So Joseph, are you slowly getting back into video games like as a whole, or just sort of, I don't know what, because you said you got only a Switch right now. Yeah, like FF12 was the last one I played. FF12, what did you think about 12? I've got some opinions, but not a whole lot. Persona 5, I've heard, is phenomenal. I have not played it yet. I haven't played any of them. And I can definitely remember seeing on PS1, like, the box art for the first 2 Personas, and they looked super interesting, and now they're very different from how they originally looked, the old box art. But maybe it's the same idea. I don't know much. I can't even remember who makes Persona. Is it Atlas? I'm wrong. Maybe I think that's who made it originally. Oh, it is Atlas. Didn't Atlas also make... Didn't Atlas also make there's an old PS1 game called and I'm gonna butcher the name, but it's called Karsha, one of the two. It's an old PS1 tactical RPG. That's worth checking out. It has artwork from Yoshitaka Amano in it. It's just great. I really liked 12, and honestly understood the complaints, but I also liked it. So yeah, 12 was okay. 12 was pretty good. If a 6 remake ever happens, I imagine Mark Hamill playing Kefka. Oh my gosh, Mark Hamill playing Kefka. That's like meshing of worlds that will blow everybody's mind. I love that idea. Mark Hamill is the best Joker voice. I remember Cardia. Yeah, Cardia was great. And I still don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I've been saying it for decades. So Cardia, it shall be. Cardia was great. It was sort of like you would get different cards, and you could use those cards to create like weapons and I believe some monsters. It was great. I don't even know where you could play it now if you don't have a PS1, or a PS2. Or one of the PS3s that are backwards compatible, but it's a great little game. It's fine. The cinematics and like the CG scenes are a little dated, but Cardia, yeah, that's the only way I know how to say it. Cardia was great though. I loved it growing up. I remember way back when you could rent video games. I remember my parents rented it for me once. And my cousin Adam was staying the night over the weekend, but he also brought his copy of it. And so we just had 2 copies of Cardia, and I was like, can we just play the one my parents rented? Because like I feel bad that they spent money on me, but I also feel bad that you brought it from home. That's who got me into Cardia also. Great game. I'm trying to think of other like... I don't even know if I still have Cardia, if I'm being honest. I'm sure I do. Looking at my collection. I didn't like it that much. Just didn't interest me. It's very slow. Cardia is very slow. And that... I feel about it the same way that I do, like, the first season of Game of Thrones. It's very slow. You just gotta get through, like, the story in order to get to the action. But there's, I don't know, the story, it's a lot of talking versus not a lot of action or gameplay. Chimera you still have your copy? Me and my friends used to, oh wait, I missed one. Jade Cocoon. Wow. Jade Cocoon is a series I haven't thought about in a very long time. Me and my friends used to alternate between Final Fantasy 3 1 week and Wizardry 5. I don't know much about the Wizardry series, if I'm being completely honest. Didn't it start on the NES originally? Wizardry? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of Ultima. But I don't know. You feel that way about... Baby, you feel like Doki Doki Literature... Oh, yeah, because you got to get, like, through 3/4 of the game in order for all the crazy stuff to happen. I'm really glad that we played through it, though. It's the only one I ever saw a pretty much D&D clone. Yeah. That's how I feel about... I wasn't a huge Ultima fan for that reason, too. I don't know, it's very slow, and I even played some of the later Ultimas, and I just wasn't into it. And what's that other... There's another RPG, too, Seventh Saga, I felt was the same, where it's just like, okay, can we get done talking? Like, and then you explore the world, and the enemies are way too hard, and the UI is not intuitive at all. But Wizardry is something that, I mean, if you played it, it must have been all right. So I might give it some thought. But yes, Doki Doki Literature Club is slow. But wow, what an ending. I feel like it's worth it. If you take like the slowness of it versus what happens, I feel like it's worth it. Because that was I remember whenever we first booted up Doki Doki Literature Club, I remember we first played, and I'd already played it at this point, but I was shaking, so nervous for the ending, but I tried to hide it and do really dumb voices. It was okay. My little brother would roll characters until we had a beast party, so I imagine it would. Chimera, I tried to play Seven Saga and could not get into it. I don't know if you can. I don't know if it's a game that you can get into. Seven Saga, it's not fun, and I wanted it to be fun because I love the box art to it, even though looking back now it was sort of really, I don't know, okay at best. Favorite summons? Oh man. Aesthetic wise, you can be general or specific. Minor Final Fantasy 6 Carbuncle. Carbuncle! If it's the one I'm thinking of, Carbuncle's the really cute one. In FF13 Alexander. Any of the Alexanders are freaking nuts. Just like a castle that's a beast. Like, that's neat. Shadow of the Colossus related. Favorite summons? Well, okay. Favorite summons? So, if you ask my adolescent self, I'm gonna say Shiva. But I always thought Ifrit was aesthetically neat looking in all of them. I couldn't get into Seven Saga either. Difficult. Yeah, it's super tough, and I don't think it's meant for anybody. Bahamut, absolutely. I mean, it's a freaking dragon. I mean, he was Ice Magic fan. Shiva, yeah. I don't think I liked Shiva because I thought it looked cool, or I'm a fan of Ice Magic. For other reasons, but yeah. Bahamut was neat. I always did like, especially in 7, with like the different iterations of Bahamut, because you had like Neo Bahamut, and what's the other one that was, I can't remember now. Bahamut was awesome. Gosh, I'm trying to think of Fat Chocobo was always really funny to me in Final Fantasy 7. I specifically remember 7 because they were sort of like a mini movie that you could watch versus Bahamut Zero, yeah, that you could watch, and it wasn't just like a person that stood there and like moved one thing, and I don't know, give me the really cinematic things, I guess. But Final Fantasy 7 was the one that introduced like the idea of camera movements during summonings, even though I think they took too long in some cases. Like, you didn't have... I would like to be able to skip. I said all that just to say I want to be able to skip it. Yes, I agree with you, Joseph, on the FF8 summon. Oh, man, I haven't even thought about the Final Fantasy 9 summons. I haven't played Final Fantasy 9 in a really long time. So, have a favorite element? Jacob asking the real questions. Do I have a favorite element? Gosh. Oh, man. Put me on the spot. Favorite element. I can remember when Final Fantasy 7 came out, I would have said Earth way back. Because the idea of Titan coming along and like just ripping the Earth and throwing it, that was really impressive to me as a 11-year-old or 10-year-old or whatever. I'm in the middle of my first playthrough of 9. How do you like 9 so far? 9 is up there on my list. It's pretty far up there. My watch is telling me to stand. I really love 9, but I definitely need to go through it again. Just the jump rope minigame always killed me. I played it again on Switch, and it's not like a 1-for-1 when you press a button, it does it on the Switch version. I love it, but it bores my wife and kid. It's a good game. 9 is my favorite of all time. I love the story. Yes, and also welcome to the stream if you haven't been here for a long time. You were in my stream last time. I remember you, atheist person. Welcome aboard to the stream. That's nice. And yes, I also love the aesthetic of Final Fantasy IX because it's cartoony enough to where you can suspend your sort of belief for a little while, but it's also, in some aspects, like especially when you get into, I don't know, just like the world around you. Like the world map is very real-ish, kind of, as much as you can be. My wife is a graphics snob. So, Joseph, so your wife, does she play games at all? And if so, are they all new? Because I'm not a graphics snob. I'll play some Atari Adventure any day. I say that, but that wouldn't be anything I go out of my way to play, realistically. She mostly watches. Yeah. If FF9 had a little more roundness, like when... Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I would consider it a masterpiece of design. For sure. For sure. I'm with you on that. When you say roundness, the only thing I can take away from Wind Waker is that it was very cel-shaded. I think I get what you're saying, though. The story of... yeah, 9 is extremely good. It's funny and emotional at the same time. Music and world building are stellar, absolutely. Plus Vivi and Steiner together. Yeah, just Vivi alone, I feel, is worth checking 9 out for. And to piggyback off of that, is finding your identity when you don't know who you are. I like that. I adore that. And I really don't want to go too far into it, but like I suffered sort of a similar thing where it's like, who am I? You know, outside of all the things that I love, and some, again, not getting too far into it, but like relationships I was in at the time. Like, who am I outside of all that? And I had no clue. And so thinking back on Final Fantasy 9 years later, as an adult, was I don't know. It was just like I already loved the Final Fantasy series anyway, but that was just like the little cherry on top that just made it even better. I don't necessarily mean cel-shaded. I mean just the game would benefit from... Oh! I see what you're saying for sure. And actually, whenever Final Fantasy 9 was released and they came out with the strategy guide for it, we won't talk about that piece of garbage. But I remember they had like blown up photos of some of the characters, and like you could count like the polygons, and they were all super like jagged and square. And yeah, you're right, 100%. You're not bad at describing things. It's fine. But yeah, it definitely suffered in some aspects. But I still feel like the aesthetic of the game is really good. Because I wasn't too far into Final Fantasy VIII's way of presenting things. It felt very late 90s, and I mean that's when the game came out, but it felt like it. And even playing it now, it's like, oh, yep, that's a thing that happened in the 90s. Or like 7 before it, I felt was a little more timeless. 8 was very now. And I mean, that's kind of the way 1999 was very sort of, now, we're here now, we're going to do this now. It was like Steiner. His identity was so wrapped up in serving the Queen and his allegiance. Yes, to Alexandria. When the Queen went too far for even him to support, he had to find his own identity. 100%. And couple that with Vivi saying, what's my point of living? What's my point? What is the point of existence? And I think I call him Zidane. I don't care. But the Japanese pronunciation is Zidane, but Zidane. And Vivi and Zidane had a very similar thing when it's like, why are we here? What is the point of us being here? And then whenever Vivi saw the other black mages that were just like puppets and robots, it sort of freaked him out a little bit, and I really connected with Vivi on that. That was super, super cool. Final Fantasy IX was a great game. I love the story and the music. It was one of those games I played through once fully, and every time after that I love starting over. And Yeah, I just did that maybe about a month or two ago just to see the opening cutscene again. Just went through and I played through getting like the tickets for the play, and after that I sort of went on to something else. But yeah, Final Fantasy IX was, if you really think about it, it was kind of heavy in terms of theming. Joseph, super good to see you. I'm glad that you made it. I mean, you were here for the whole thing pretty much so far. I'm really, really glad you made it. And well, I'll be here next Sunday also. That's fantastic. Dude, my fans are just the best. And I don't even like to say fans. You can ask my fiance about that. I don't like to say that I have fans. But yeah, Final Fantasy IX, fantastic. Very heavy. And whenever I talked about Final Fantasy IX being an animated series, I was like, how are they going to cover like the really, really deep, dark aspects of it? Because it is. I remember playing Final Fantasy IX for the first time after a series of life-changing surgeries. And I remember feeling kind of heartbroken at Vivi in general. I feel like the plot hits hard because you don't accept it. Yeah. And also, life-changing surgeries, that's, man, that, yeah. Things like that, like health, whether it was like external or internal surgeries, like that kind of stuff will change you completely. And Vivi's whole thing, like I said a few minutes ago, just again seeing the puppetry and the mindless order taking that the black mages do. And Vivi's like, is that me? Like, am I that? But it's like, no, you're so much better. We're all friends. Good point. Good point. Not fans, but friends. I agree wholeheartedly. And I don't know. I don't. So here's the thing. Very, very quickly. Here's the thing. We're sitting. I don't have the numbers in front of me now, but we're sitting. So whenever I did my stream a week ago, I wasn't even at 700 subs yet, which is just wild. And then now we're almost at 800, and it's I don't know how to take it. I don't know what to do. I never expected any of this, so like it's super cool. And like hanging out in a live stream where people are like, "Hey," I'm like, hey, I don't know what to do." This was years ago now. As a kid, it seemed less. Yeah, I'm glad everything's cool now. I'm glad all the things are going better for you. Discovered your channel the other day. Great stuff. You're making real high quality content. I appreciate it. I feel like I'm just blowing in the wind and I don't know what I'm doing. But thank you for that, Brandon. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep trying. I got some stuff in the works. It's one of those, Vivi is Vivi because of his unique experiences and not because he can... Yeah. Because Vivi's freaking awesome. And Steiner is even calls him Master Vivi or something at one point. Because like he sees the potential in that kid. And I love that Steiner saw that side of Vivi and was like uplifting him the whole time, even though Steiner can be like a stick in the mud personality wise. He still saw the greatness in like people around him, and you can't beat that kind of storytelling, man. It's incredible. Jacob says, I just discovered your channel because I was looking for opinion on who Gogo is. Am I the one who said Gogo is Bram? That would be me, 100%. And I'm not I mean, I'm a little modest, but I don't know how to deal with things. I'm very bad at it. But yes, I am the one who said Gogo's Bram. And that's not like the be all end all. I guess in the video I kind of made it seem like I'm not accepting any other way of thinking, but it was definitely interesting whenever it was interesting to me whenever I put it together. Did I say who else? I also have a theory that Gogo is Realm's mother, but that's a whole different thing. I only touched on that just for like a second, because I was like, that seems funny. I don't know. I've always wanted to know who Gogo was. Like, as growing up, Because there was no, I mean, you don't have a internet whenever you're that in 1994. Steiner's a great inspector. Sticking a mud cup. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%, yes. He's super good at that. And you don't expect that whenever you meet Steiner early on. Because he's like it was said earlier, even in chat, was like Steiner was very sort of the queen this and the queen that, and I'm gonna uphold every rule that we have. And then here comes Zidane, who's like, I'm here to kidnap your princess. That's cool. And then the princess is like, please kidnap me. I've got to go. Such a cool cast, man. And Freya's whole thing. Freya's music by itself is fantastic. I can't remember the city that it rains in all the time. I can't think of the name of it. But like the music in Final Fantasy IX was great. And I'd read somewhere that Nobuo went to Europe. Nobuo Uematsu, the composer, went to Europe for a while. And just like soaked up like a sponge all the music from that era in that time. And used it to compose Final Fantasy IX soundtrack, which is massive. That soundtrack is. I believe it was a 4-disc soundtrack, if I'm not mistaken. Something similar to that. I saw that video. I wasn't sure who said it. My rationale was solid. I'm glad that you think it was solid, because there's people who don't think it's solid. Freya's a great character. Is so strong. I think I might like her better than Vivi. Her story is heartbreaking. Her story is heartbreaking. Burmecia, yes. The spelling's slightly off, but yes, it's Burmecia. You got it correct. Freya, yeah, her... What's his name? Sir something. Boy, I'm really out of practice when it comes to these. But I feel the same way. Freya, her musical theme reflects it. You can hear the... Sir Fratley! Yeah, that's what it is. You can hear the heartbreak. And I'm smiling like an idiot because my chat told me something awesome. Told me a name of a person I couldn't remember. What's up, Sluggo? I love that name. I love that name a lot. Okay, I got really hung up on the Sluggo thing. But you can hear in Freya's theme the absolute, because I learned it on piano. I don't want to play it, but like it's like the chord structure is super. It just kills you, and if you couple that song with her entire story, it just makes sense. I get lost in my thoughts sometimes, and I end up saying many other things. Thanks, man. You're very welcome. That's earlier today. I got a notification that there was a new subscriber to the channel, and wow, I can't remember what it is right now, but it made me laugh. Sluggo's great. I love Sluggo. I can't remember. It had something to do with... Oh, it was Gurky. I thought that was interesting. I think we need to hear you play that, wouldn't it? I would... I would have to hook up, and you can't really see it. No, you can't really see it. But there's a piano behind me. And I would like to hook it up and play, because I know a few Final Fantasy tracks on piano, and that being one of them. I would love to do that, but there's a lot of things I got to figure out when it comes to streaming. Gurky. That's what it was, and it made me laugh. And I kept saying, oh, I hope that person's on stream, but they've yet to show if they are. Which is fine. I don't mind. This is super cool. I was really nervous about doing this stream again, if I'm being completely honest. But here we are, and I'm an hour into... It's already been an hour? What a day. Okay. So... I'd heard some people say Gogo was Daryl with no evidence backing it. Yeah, you presented actual evidence for Bram being Gogo. I'm gonna do another video, and I apologize, my chair is squeaky. I'm gonna do another video where I talk about other people that Gogo could be. Daryl came up a lot. And I just don't think there is much evidence to support that. Because while the game didn't come out and say, like, at the point whenever you get the airship from Daryl's tombstone, or Daryl's tomb, it says that the wreckage was found, but it didn't specifically come out and say, well, there was a body discovered or anything. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, there's a lot of implications, including the name Daryl's tomb, that is pretty kind of, I don't know, it shows a lot of finality to me that Daryl is no more. And so that was sort of my thing for, like, Daryl can't be Gogo ever, because first of all, if Daryl was Gogo, because of the intense relationship that Daryl and Setzer had, because they were the best of friends, maybe more, but they were super close, and I just don't think that that Daryl could just stand by with Setzer near and not say anything. But maybe not. I mean, we don't know too much about Daryl's character. Do you consider the Final Fantasy II extra story canon? It isn't there in the Pixel remasters, but it's kind of the best chunk. Is it really? Are you in Final Fantasy II? Are you specifically talking about, like, where you can recruit the members of the game that died? Like, I almost said Mindu, but Minwoo, whatever. Like, he's there. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, the post game stuff. Do I consider it canon? I don't know. I don't. And they did something similar in Final Fantasy IV, where you could have like the people that didn't make it sort of form this, I don't know, like fantasy party sort of thing. Ricard, yeah. I don't care much for those. I don't think any of the extra dungeons. Oh my gosh, and I meant to answer this forever ago, and I can't remember who said it. I'm not a big fan of the extra dungeons. I'm not a big fan of it at all. Mindless Meat, welcome aboard. What people don't know is that Gogo's actually Leon from Final Fantasy II. He was so upset at being behind the rest of the group, went off and started dimension hopping. It has more whatever than some of the theories on Gogo that I've heard. Like, only 2 people lived. Yeah, including one of the. I have a video on the channel where I talk about. There's an old guy that I called Kevin. He dies, and I was really upset with that. It really struck me, and it really threw me off. If you haven't seen that video, oh my gosh, like, that's one of my favorite videos I've ever made. The Briscoe, hello, just subscribed a few weeks ago. Love the channel. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate that. The Briscoe. Any plans to do something on After Years? I never got around to playing it, but I've heard wildly different opinions. Just watched that this morning. I don't know why I love that video. The ending of it, where I'm just like, it only took 1 hit or whatever. I just love that video. When I was writing it, I was like, this is my favorite thing I've ever created. As far as the After Years goes, I definitely am going to do a thing on the After Years. There's so much extra story, because I also want to do a character analysis on Golbez. Because I don't know, it was brought up last stream where I should do something on Golbez, and I kind of looked into it, and I really want to do something. So yes, there's going to be some After Years stuff coming at some point. I can't say when, because I have no clue. The Shorto, good morning everyone. I recently found your channel and truly in love with the content. Oh man, that's super nice. You've really created a great body of work so far. Oh, that's ultra nice. Man, was that you who said the Golbez stuff? Yeah, I would love to. But the Shorto, thank you for the incredibly nice words. I don't even know how to respond to it other than saying thank you for those incredibly nice words. I'm really bad at taking compliments, but if you like it, then I'm doing something okay then. So After Years, yeah, I've got some stuff in the After Years that I would like to do. Just like, I really want to get into Cecil's son. Was Theodore, whatever. uh, I don't know. There's just a lot of extra content because I do consider that canon. Because I mean, it's pretty obvious that that's like after the after years. It's in the title. But like the relationship of Cecil and Rosa versus like Kane's whole story. Kane's whole story is fantastic, and there's a lot of jealousy there, and I love those little like subtle things that it's fantastic. The Shorto, man, that's so nice of you. I'm still like beaming about that's super nice of you. Thank you for that. After years, I would really like to get. I don't want to bring up my huge list of things, but because I've got a gigantic running list of videos I want to do. The after years definitely. Kane's like side story. I would love to do all of Kane's story and present it all. I don't. Cecil kind of. Oh my gosh, there was a question I meant to answer 5 years ago. I'm gonna scroll through real quick, and I can't even remember what it was about. Oh, do I? Ooh, I can't remember. My computer decided to not do anything now. Oh, it was something about the extra dungeons, and now I feel like a jerk. But I don't like the extra dungeons. I feel like it was just slapped on for the sake of slapping something on. That's how I've always felt about it. Whenever I got like the Dawn of Souls version of Final Fantasy 1 and 2 for Game Boy Advance, it took me a long time to finally go through it because I don't care. It seemed like they just tacked it on for the sake of. People are talking about the pixel remasters being a cash grab. I feel like tacking those dungeons on previous versions were cash grabs. I consider the extra dungeons something fun to do. I agree wholeheartedly, and it's vastly optional. And I think the final product that came out of every Final Fantasy, I feel like that's it. Now you can change. I mean, there's only so much you can retcon, but I've heard that the Dissidia series really retcons everything. But I don't like the extra dungeons. I think some of them are fun, but that's about it. I don't really care much. Like, give me the original story, and that's why I really was fighting for the original version of Final Fantasy 3 to be released versus what we got on DS back in 06. Because it wasn't, a lot of it was the same, but it really wasn't. There were some differences. Like the fact that you can complete a battle in 4 seconds versus a minute and a half. Yeah, I was never a fan of the extra dungeons. I played through them. I don't know if I played through all of them, but I definitely played through them enough to sort of get what they were about. But it's all challenging. It's all meant to be. It's sort of the Mario 2 that we never got over here in the States until later. Like what is it? Lost Levels or whatever. It's sort of that same idea. Like for people who are really hardcore about it and they can do this. I never cared. I'm not saying I'm not a hardcore Final Fantasy player, but it never intrigued me enough. Lost Levels, yeah. It's very much that sort of thing. Like, it's there if you want it. I played the original NES version of 3 on an emulator. It wasn't a bad game. I don't think 3's a bad game at all. I just think the DS version of it is really, really clunky and kind of boring in some ways. It seems like the NES version and now the Pixel remasters are a lot more fast-paced, and I feel like you can get through it a little easier. And it's way more balanced. Because like the DS version of Final Fantasy 3 and 4 are ultra difficult, but they're that way on purpose. And I don't know. You just finished Final Fantasy 3 Pixel Remastered today. How did you like it? Because I adore it. I adore all 6 of them. I love all 6 of the Pixel Remasters. Did I ever list? Yeah. I told you my favorite Final Fantasy 6 character. I remember the Final Fantasy 2 Pixel Remaster really, really surprised me at how much I liked it. Semi-unrelated topic. Opinion on the Bravely Default series. The Bravely Default series, I feel about it the same way that I do Final Fantasy IV Heroes of Light. I think it's a gorgeous game. I really love the art style. I'm not 100% familiar with Bravely Default. I've played a small amount of it, and I've seen a lot of it. But from what I've seen and from what I've played, I could definitely sink some time into it. If I were to allow myself to sink some time into it. Does that make any sense at all? But like 4 Heroes of Light, I feel is really underrated. And maybe I feel the same about Bravely Default, I'm not sure. Do you think the Pixel remasters are or will bring younger fans to the game? I hope so. I really, really hope so. I feel like that was the point of it, was to bring, like, give the original the original game sort of life back, and and like, because there's always going to be new Final Fantasies coming out, and there's always going to be like, well, in order to play the older ones, you have to buy this really old hardware that may or may not work anymore. Versus, yeah, go on Steam and you get the first 6 of them for $90. And I would like to say yes. I think that's the whole point, is to bring more people. Problem I had is there were too many gimmicks in it for me to love it. It was really good, but kept moving on to new classes. Yeah. You couldn't really slow down and experience, like, I'm gonna be a monk for like the whole game. You couldn't do that. I mean, you could, but favorite Final Fantasy protagonist. Oh, in any Final Fantasy. Oh boy. Protagonist of Final Fantasy that I love. I can't point to any one protagonist in the series and say I really, really love this character. Only because there are so many good ones. As far as, and that is because the storytelling in the series, like, Sakaguchi is really good at that. And all the directors, therefore, like, after Sakaguchi left, they're all really good. I mean, it would be an easier list to tell you who's not my favorite Final Fantasy protagonist, but if I had to pick one, gosh, I don't know. I really love Terra from Final Fantasy VI a lot. Like, that was my... I remember playing, like, holy crap, like, you can play as a female character, and she's got a crazy backstory that's neat, too. A product of a human and Esper, that's neat. I'm in the middle of playing Bravely Default 2, and it's good, but it tends to start boring me because you can make Final Fantasy 2 you can make... I started reading the comment underneath. You can make it too easy. How can you make it too easy? I'm very curious. Is it kind of like... you can set it up to where you can sort of play it. It plays itself. Final Fantasy 6 is by far my favorite. Me too. Mindless Meat. I'm with you. Like, far away, like, Final Fantasy 6 is my all-time favorite. I just feel like it was the perfect storm of where we were at, and maybe I'm dating myself a little here, but like where we were at as far as video games at the time, and because nothing really touched on a lot of those topics. Nothing really went so far into talk about teenage pregnancy and, you know, unaliving oneself and all those things that's super heavy, and there was definitely not an opera in any of them. But games up to that point were just sort of, this is fun, you know, I get to play Sonic and I can platform my life away. But to me, Final Fantasy IV kind of started it, but Final Fantasy VI perfected it. Final Fantasy IV and 6 are my favorites, absolutely. I remember going to my friend's house and him showing me it on the SNES. I went out that day and bought it, absolutely. There's a job that boosts stats with every enemy captured, and your stats get so high you can kill. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would kill it for me. Although I guess you could just enjoy the story at that point rather than the challenge of it. Final Fantasy 4 and 6, I don't know that... 6 is my absolute favorite, and I think 7 is somewhere underneath it. The original 7. Not to say that the 7 remake is bad, because it's not. It was just it's very nostalgic for me. And then Final Fantasy IV might be underneath that. I don't know. Final Fantasy IV, and I said, and I've said in a previous video that I really think if you play Final Fantasy IV now, it seems kind of predictable, and that's because that game, I feel, really, really set the standard for what RPG storytelling is, and now it's been copied so many times that if you try to play it again now, it's like, well, of course we expected this to happen. Blah, blah, blah. You can auto-repeat turn actions, so you can attack forever. You can level your starter class. Blah, blah, blah. Give it the game to go off. And see that? I don't know. That would kill it for me. That would really, if you're talking about Bravely Default 2, which I get lost in conversation. I'm moving on to it next. I'm playing through all of them in order. Final Fantasy IV is good. It's definitely worth playing. I mean, it's on all sorts of like top Super Nintendo game lists. It's on all of them. And I really feel like it's the most important game in the series, but it's not my all-time favorite. I was surprised at how much I like Final Fantasy 2. When I played the Pixel Remaster, I definitely felt that way. Do I like the Dragon Quest franchise? I do. I'm fairly inexperienced in the Dragon Quest franchise, but I've definitely played the first 3. But I've got almost all of them. It's just one of those things I just haven't gotten around to doing. Because I've heard the newest one takes like 90-something hours to go through. I've played all but 2 and 3 before. 2 and 3 are good. Breath of Fire, I have a love-hate relationship with Breath of Fire, specifically the first Breath of Fire, Brandon, to answer your question. Breath of Fire, I bought it as a child. I didn't buy it. My parents bought it for me. And I had the original Super Nintendo version of it. I don't have it anymore. Had it in a box. And it was on sale at Walmart. I was very young. And I got so far into it. But my sibling was really young. And in short, my game got erased. And I didn't pick it up much after that. But Breath of Fire 2 is fantastic. I love Breath of Fire 2. And I've heard 3 and 4 are good too. Dragon Quest 5 is good. If you like Pokemon, you'd like Dragon Quest 5. I do like Pokemon. BoF 2 is low-key. Yeah, BoF 2 is fantastic, man. Breath of Fire 2 is wonderful, and you can play it on Switch right now. I'm actually playing Joe and Mac at the moment on Super Nintendo. Just because I forgot how fun it is. I did not like BoF 1 at all. Breath of Fire 1, I mean, it's set everything in motion for the rest of them, I feel. Breath of Fire 2 was really good. It's a lot more sort of realistic, I feel, than... Because, I mean, even in the opening bits of Breath of Fire 2, it's like, oh, God, help us. And it's like, oh, whoa, what's happening? And you're just in it. And then you play as a little tiny guy. And that's, I don't know. And then you just, like, you grow up a little bit. It's neat. Town building mechanics are the way to my heart. Yeah. Oh, man. I've got something for you, Brandon. Then it's going to be in an upcoming video, but I don't know if I should share it entirely or not. If town building mechanics are for you, then there's something in an upcoming video that you will love. And it's about Final Fantasy VI. So, in Dragon Quest V, you can recruit certain enemies after beating them, and they can join your party as party members. See, I love that. I love that. Ni no Kuni 2. I don't know. Jovan's here. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Jovan. Ni no Kuni 2. I don't know much about the series, to be honest with you. I like Breath of Fire 3's world, especially the end reveal about the world. I don't know. Close enough. That tells me that it's wrong, Jovan. Jovan? I feel like I don't know how to pronounce anything anymore. All of a sudden. But Brandon, so man, I'm really fighting hard whether I should reveal this or not. But I discovered something about Final Fantasy VI that was gonna be in it, but was cut last second because I couldn't make it work, and it had something to do with city building. I'll put it that way. Scout is trying to get your face on my screen. I still don't know how to pronounce it. It has an O, so it threw me off. Let's see. Scout is trying to get my face on the screen. Scout is my fiance's cat, and apparently trying to wait. I got lost. I wish they would re-release Legend of Dragoon. I wholeheartedly agree with you about Legend of Dragoon. I wish they would make it not so slow. That was my biggest thing with it, because like all the battles were like, you input these events or these button presses, and it's like, all right, and we got it, and we're good, and now we're gonna go back. So the O in I've been saying Joven, so it's not Joven then. Java. I'm gonna butcher it, and that's gonna be the. And I hate it too because you've been subbed to the channel for a long time, and I've never asked the question. OMG, you could rebuild the world of. No, not quite, not quite rebuilding the world of ruin or anything like that, but I don't want to say anything yet, but there's a lot. Wow, I want to play so many PS1 RPGs. There are so many of them to play, and that's partially the problem. Here's a good FX question asked by my lady. What is the deal with Ultros? Ultros is a lovable fella. What's the deal with Ultros in terms of what specifically? Because I think he's just meant to be comic relief. I think that's how we all sort of see him, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, because he brings Chupon with him, and Chupon just sneezes all over the place, and that's like his friend. So like, what kind of person is Ultros deep down? Or what kind of squid octopus fella is Ultros? I would like to see a prequel about Legend of Dragoon, the Dragon campaign where you play as Rose and Ultros. I would play that all the time. I would play that prequel all day. I have more patience back in my youth. I feel the same way. I feel like now I'm like, get to it. And that's why I'm having a hard time coming up with like video ideas for the channel, because I'm like, I just want to get to the end, but I have to record all of this stuff before I get there. I don't have a PS1. Never had one. I've got one in my car currently. Don't ask me why it's in the car versus in this room. Mindless me, I don't know much about 14, and I'll explain why. I'm actually going to start playing 14 and present it to the channel in a specific way. Ultros comes back. Okay. I've heard lots of references to older Final Fantasy games on that. I'd love a deep dive in universe on Ultros. Me too, and maybe I'll do that. I love Ultros. He's super funny, but also I think he thinks that he's very serious, but I don't think that he is. I heard Ultros in other Final Fantasy games. Just can't think of the other games at the moment. I don't know. I know he's in 14 for sure, but oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to take my watch off. His absolute obsession with screwing the party over is hilarious, and there's no rhyme or reason. Plus, he's mentioned getting Siegfried's attention with this stuff. Yeah, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I forgot about the whole Siegfried thing. But yes, even in the opera scene. Okay, really think about this for a second. Jacob brings up a good point. Really think about Ultros in the opera scene. He wanted to straight up murder an entire opera scene while people were watching. And he has a friend that sneezes. What kind of personality are we dealing with Ultros? That's the real question. Just easier to emulate Nintendo than Sony. Yeah, by far. By far. Although I don't know much about emulation, Joe Van. That's a lie, by the way. I don't know much about it either. Just my friend plays it a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna present Final Fantasy XIV a very specific way to the channel. I just have to wait to get there. What a day! We're talking about Ultros and killing opera people and sneezing. Extra dungeons in Final Fantasy, whether they're canon or not. Chimera, are you leaving? I couldn't afford many things, so it came in handy. I couldn't either, and I still can't. So that's where we are. Chimera's leaving, everybody. Everybody say bye to Chimera. Old games should be more accessible. I think that's what they're wanting to do, realistically. I think that's what they're striving to do with like the games you can get on the Switch thing now. I think that's they're starting to head down that path. I don't think, me personally, I don't think that they're doing it correctly, but yeah, I love that everybody said bye to Chimera. That's fantastic. Ultros, it'll take me 5 minutes to move it. Yeah, he was legitimately just gonna murder a whole bunch of people, and it would have taken him 5 minutes to move a ridiculous weight that sat on top of broken wood. Explain that to me. Not remakes, but the games the way they are. Yeah, and again, I think that's what they're trying to do, but I don't know. I still think that they're going about it the wrong way. Because I think if you, I don't know what I think about it. There's a part of me that's like, well, if you want to get into the earlier Final Fantasy series, check out these free 6 games where you can experience it first. But I don't know. Nintendo's, yeah, I'm torn. I'm very torn on it. I want an Ultros and Gilgamesh collab. That would be funny. Yeah. Gosh, can you imagine Ultros going through like all the dimensional voids and all that stuff? And he's just trying to kill everybody, but he fails. You're right. Dude, that would be like the slapstick comedy of like the Final Fantasy series. To me, Ultros seems like he has the same type of voice. Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah, probably. I don't know that I've ever thought about Ultros having a voice or not. Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. I haven't seen Little Shop of Horrors in so long. But all the time, maybe not all the time now, but once upon a time, I would go around like, feed me, Simo. Ultros tries to be like Lavos. Wow. Lavos is a bit more successful, I feel, than Ultros, because Ultros doesn't transform into a huge turtle and takes over everything. He's just sort of like, I'm just a weird octopus. He apparently, I looked it up, is in Final Fantasy 13-2 with a voice act. Uh-oh. Well, I'm going to put that in my notes. Ultros voice. Oh, my pen doesn't work. Man, come on, pen. There you go. Ultros voice in FF 13-2. He's in World of Final Fantasy. Well, crap. World of Final Fantasy, I've just started playing recently. Right, of course, he tries to be like Lavos. He wants to be Lavos, but let's face it. Ultros, I haven't played it, but I own it. I have it. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I started playing it recently. I didn't get very far because I'm working on some other things. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm working on all sorts of stuff. Ultros and Scorpion Army would be the best collab. I don't know how to take that comment. Scorpion Army. You all have gotten me wanting to do an Ultros character analysis. So I'm just taking crazy amounts of notes and going to use them in the future. There's some things to take away from this, from what I have in my notes so far. And I'm definitely going to play the new theatre rhythm. It's what I call it. The theater rhythm thing that I get emails about all the time. It'll take you just 5 minutes to do that analysis. Oh, yeah. Wait, I didn't even finish writing it. Scorpion Army and Ultros. Collab. Yeah, that'd be a very short video. For only being in the game for a short time, he's really funny. He really is. But he also can kill Bannon in one hit, so maybe he's really serious in the beginning, and then everybody is just way more powerful than him as time goes on. In the beginning, I think he's... Controversial opinion. Uh-oh. Here we go. Ultros is more memorable than General Leo, which I think wasn't the intention. Ultros is more memorable than General Leo. I'm going to sit with that for a second. Only because I agree with you, but I don't know how to state how I agree with you. General Leo, I think he was meant to just be General Leo. I think he was just meant to be a good guy in bad guy's clothing, and not necessarily like because he's very relatable in some ways, and you can see it in the when you do the camp thing in the World of Balance, where even Sabin and Shadow are like, oh, he could be my friend if he weren't my enemy. That kind of shows it. And then even when General Leo is like, what are you doing later on, right before the Floating Continent, when General Leo's like, you know, why are we doing all this crap with all these espers and what's really happening? You know, Kefka, what have you done? And yeah, I don't know. But then Ultros is just like, you're gonna remember Ultros. If you see an octopus in real life, you're gonna think, oh, that's Ultros. But like, if you see just a guy, you're not gonna be like, oh, that's General Leo. So maybe you're right. I'm making a Gilgamesh-inspired Final Fantasy game. I'm writing a story on and off. I was wondering if any Final Fantasy fans wanted to help. Really? I was going for a more serious route with him. As the rival. If I had, honestly and sincerely, if I could help you in any way, I would love to. That sounds super neat. That sounds super neat. And I still don't know how to pronounce your name, but I'm gonna write it. Yeah, that's super neat. If I can help you in any way, just like send me a message and we'll get it all figured out. Gilgamesh inspired. Actually, if you're doing a game, I can not only help you but with like writing, but like really like I can do music for it too. Because like that's what I do in my off time is I compose music for games that none of them have worked out, but I've got all the soundtracks done. Yeah, dude. It'll take me a while to finally get around to it. Just because I have a lot of stuff. Like this upcoming weekend, I'm going to Nashville, Tennessee for a while to record some stuff. So I've got lots of other little things I'm doing. But yeah, I would love to sort of piece together some tracks for it. Just let me know. We literally just started Snow Rush. Yeah, fantastic. Cool. I'll do some music for it. I don't know if I could help so much in the writing, but yeah, for sure. I gotta learn Gilgamesh's themes. Yeah, I've done soundtracks for things that ended up never surfacing, which is real sad, because one of the soundtracks is like an hour and a half long, and it's got I want to say it's got 20 something tracks altogether that I don't have a home for anymore. So that's kind of sad. Have you ever tried to do sprite animations? I used to love 8-bit theater. I used to love 8-bit theater too. I've tried to do some sprite. I can't even do like sprite art. I can draw all day, and I can do like traditional animation stuff to a point. But as far as 8-bit sprite animations, I'm not good at it. I would love to be good at it, and I wish I could say yes to that question, but I can't. We're doing a SNES style game. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. 8-bit theater was great. I agree wholeheartedly. 8-bit theater was super funny, and again, I think it was a product of its time. Very early internet to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way it feels to me. Was that it was very sort of edgy, and I don't know. I liked it a lot. I thought it was super funny. And that whole there's a lot of like videos that were similar to that don't, I don't know that they would fly necessarily in the way today is going. I can't remember 8-bit theater being that sort of edgy, but they had moments. I can't think of any right offhand, but when I played FF1, I was one character. I don't understand that sentence you typed. Maybe I'm just dumb and I got live stream brain and I can't read right. Because like when you do these streams, I can't think straight sometimes. I rolled for the classes. Oh, I see. There was another one. What were they called? There was 8-bit theater, and then there was another one. Oh my gosh. I can't remember what it's called. But it's a YouTube video from like a decade and a half ago, and it makes me laugh every time I see it. And I'm not going to be able to find it, so I'm not even going to look. But it was like, we're taking a deep look into the world of D&D. And it's like, I don't know, Final Fantasy Daycare. No. Because like there was a lot of things, there was a lot of things at the time where it was like D&D is all Satan worshippers and all this sort of stuff and all these terrible things, but it's like, and it's like one of the guys is like, does anybody want a Mountain Dew? And it's like, I don't know, it's so funny and it makes me laugh even to this day, and I cannot remember what the video is called. Gosh, it's so funny. And I'm going to try to find it. Attack the darkness. I'm attacking the darkness. Yes. Oh, man. I'm glad somebody else knows what it is. Oh, it's so funny. Are there any girls there? Oh, it makes me laugh every time. It makes me laugh so much. I love that video. It's so dumb. And it's like, I don't know. Again, it's very much of its time. But there's little nuances in that thing, because like there's an argument that stems, and they get mad at each other because he can't cast the spell yet or something, and then it's all broken up by Mountain Dew, and ugh, I can't even think of what it's called now, but and I didn't really give you much context to go off of, but it's super funny. I have to catch a flight. Thanks for being on live today. Thanks for being on live today, too. Help calm my nerves for my flight. Just listening and chatting about finance and stuff. Thank you so much. Talk to you next time. Your flight will be fine, friend. It will be just fine. I know it's your first flight, and I would be a nervous mess too. But dude, everything will be just fine, and you'll get to the other side and wonder what you were so scared of before. That's what's gonna happen. You'll be just fine. And whenever you do land, I won't be on live anymore probably because I'm gonna end it pretty soon. But thank you for being on live and have fun on that flight. Try to take a nap. That always helps. I've never flown, so I don't know. I gotta go. Yeah, I'm about to go too. Eat with the family. Oh, that's super nice. Like the 8-bit Rena. I'm gonna look that up because I can't remember. Flying feels to me relaxing, even logically it shouldn't be. Yeah. Yeah. Enjoy eating with your family. I think I'll try to take a nap and get back to you. Yep, for sure. You actually have D&D in like 20 minutes. That's fantastic. I wish I could have time to play D&D. But yeah, it seems like everybody has to go, so I'm going to go too, I guess. But to anybody who's still here from the beginning, wow, this stream was fantastic. And thank you all for being a part of it. And thank you for showing up and talking. This was really cool. I got a lot of cool notes and a lot of cool things to present. But anyway, I love you all. And I'm going to go do some stuff myself. And I'm going to talk about that video later on. No, don't thank me for doing this. Thanks for being here. Bye, y'all. I'm going to end this stream right now. Maybe, if I know how to do it. You go by Jay. That's much easier. Yeah, I'll do that. It's fun to talk about my childhood games. It is. It is. I love you guys. I see you around next time. Bye. End.